Så där ja, varmt välkomna tillbaka ska ni vara till Aktieportföljen live. And I'm actually going to switch to English now because I have Martin Vidaeus with me in the studio. He's the CEO of Redwood Pharma. Welcome, Martin.
Thank you very much.
I'm not sure if I pronounced your last name correctly.
Vidaeus, but we'll take it another time and
yes.
We'll get it right.
Okay, so you're going to do your presentation and then at the end I'll come back to ask you a couple of questions.
Thank you. Well, I'd like to begin with just saying that we've made a lot of progress today with our portfolio of dry eye products. I'd like to talk about a little about the company, the market for dry eye therapies that we are developing products towards treating. I'll tell you a little bit about the disease itself, the pathology, our two programs for the treatment of dry eye that are unique in treating different patient populations, strategic goals for the company, and then I'll also talk about our rights issue that we will be kicking off in November. The company develops next-generation therapies for the treatment of dry eye disease, and we have two programs under development. RP501, which is a medical device that has its aim is to treat mild to moderate dry eye in a wider patient population in both men and women. And then we have RP101, which is a pharmaceutical drug candidate based on an estrogen, topical estrogen that we deliver to the front of the eye to treat moderate to severe dry eye in postmenopausal women. And this is the largest patient population that's underserved in the market today. And all of this is basically served with the IntelliGel platform. It's a formulation that we have exclusive use for the use in ophthalmology from Broda Technologies. And what it is a patent-protected combination of polymers and water that allows for active substances to be delivered to the front of the eye and protects and lubricates the front of the eye for an extended period of time. The company is made up of seasoned and experienced executives within the pharmaceuticals industry. We have a lot of experience within early clinical trial and later clinical trial management, as well as business development and marketing within both the pharmaceutical and medical device sector. We have the advantage today that we're in an industry with a demand for its products within the pharmaceutical and medical device area that we see very large growth, and we've seen that over the last 20 years. And there's a lot of innovation, needs for new products by bigger companies in technologies that are developed by smaller companies like ourselves. And if we look at the total amount of investment that's been made by pharmaceutical firms, it's over the last 10 years, it's grown from 127 billion in 2012 to 200 billion in 2020. That's the last 8 years, I should say. And then if you don't know much about the ophthalmology area, this is a really exciting area. It's an area where there's a lot of dynamism in terms of innovation. And it's a large market valued at around $36 billion US in 2020. And it's expected to grow because of the prevalence of different diseases. As we have an aging population and more awareness of diseases like dry eye disease or age-related macular degeneration, glaucoma, among others, the need for new therapies is growing, and we see that that's the projection through 2028 here. We're focused, as I said earlier, on dry eye disease. It's a very large area. There are over 340 million sufferers globally, 50 million within just the US and EU alone. And dry eye is the reason why 50% of people go see an eye doctor. It's because they have those symptoms. And so it's a large market, a large need. And what we see in the graph on the screen is that on the left-hand side you see artificial tears. That's the primary first-line treatment. That's expected to grow from 2.3 billion to 2.9 million from 2019 to 2030. And then you see the anti-inflammatories. That's the second line of treatment that most patients turn to if they're not getting adequate relief from the first-line therapies. And that's also expected to grow over the same period from 2.3 to 4.5 billion. Dry eye is an interesting area. It's a multifactorial disease. It means that there are many different types, different causes of dry eye, and today there's no one silver bullet to treat these diseases. And so we need a variety of effective and convenient treatments, and most often people turn to, as I said, the first-line therapy of artificial tears. And if they can't find any relief from that, they turn to drugs, pharmaceutical drugs that will then not just lubricate or wet the front of the eye, it'll actually try to improve the symptoms pharmaceutically. And we believe that RP501, our product for mild to moderate dry eye disease, will be uniquely positioned in that category. We feel like because of its effectiveness and its convenience in being applied fewer times a day, we believe that it will be a unique product. And likewise with RP101, because its mechanism is to influence the underlying biological mechanism, it differentiates itself from the competitive landscape. So we feel that both products are going to find very competitive positions within the market. So a little bit about dry eye disease itself and what it does. It affects the tear film, and the symptoms of dry eye are like dryness, redness, and so forth, foreign body sensation. And it's the tear film, it's the instability of the tear film that thus results in dry eye. And this, if the tear film is not regular, it can then expose the cornea and cause symptoms to occur. The tear film should not affect the eyesight, and it should be stable, basically, to allow the eyelid to be open for extended periods of time. It has about 3,000 different ingredients also. The causes of dry eye and the instability of the tear film can be seen with a rising age. We see that as people grow older, that the production of the tear film is compromised. If you're in a hot or a dry environment, that also can cause dry eye, even hormonal changes in women. And then there are just a litany of other types of causes. So here we can see that it is a problem, this disease. So what we feel is RP501 will be a very unique and effective first-line treatment for dry eye, and demonstrated in the phase 2 clinical trial where we tested both RP101 and RP501 together, where RP501 was the placebo control. We saw improvement, really healthy improvement of symptoms, the improvement of symptoms in dry eye disease. They're both from subjective and objective measurement points. It's based on IntelliGel, which behaves like water at room temperature, but when the formulation comes into the contact of the front of the eye, the IntelliGel then becomes more viscous, and it stays on the eye longer, bringing water to the eye longer, reducing inflammation, and thus reducing symptoms of dry eye. And it can serve an aging population where we see people are growing older today. They're using more computers. We're looking at mobile phones more often. We see that the incidence of dry eye increases. So we believe that RP501 has the potential of providing relief to both men and women of all ages. So our focus today is to bring 501 to market, and it represents a next generation therapy beyond ordinary artificial tears and gels, where those two categories basically have been developed because of this need this temporary need by patients. What we are doing with 501 is basically surfing on the benefits of both of these products. Artificial tears, easy to apply, but less effective. Many applications a day are needed. Gels, on the other hand, are more difficult to apply, but they hinder. They hinder there are a lot of symptoms such as blurred vision and so forth, and difficulty in applying. That is the primary problem with them. So what we are trying to do is to piggyback on the benefits of both of those categories. Take the benefits of artificial tears and the benefits of gels, combining them into a new category, and we think that will differentiate ourselves out of the market. So today we have a clinical trial underway where we're testing 501 in both men and women in a trial in Vienna, and 60 patients are being divided into two groups looking at efficacy, tolerability, and safety in those two groups with and without contact lenses. Our short-term goal now is to get CE mark approval. This allows us to then market the product in Europe. And our intermediate goal then is to build an engine for revenue growth through sales and licensing partnerships. So we believe that RP501 can be tested, commercialized, and launched quickly, and will generate positive cash flow for the company. So that was RP501, our mild to moderate treatment. This is RP101. This is our novel treatment for moderate to severe dry eye. It is a low-dose estrogen-based topical therapy for chronic dry eye in postmenopausal women. And it'll be the first product of its kind. It actually targets a specific biological mechanism in the eye, stimulates production of tear fluid, and we have completed a phase 2 trial in Europe, which exhibited safety and efficacy with up to 2 doses a day. And we also confirmed prior to results, phase 2 results in the US. And we had good news this year as the FDA approved our phase 3 clinical trial design. And I think that that just bodes well. And when the FDA in the largest market in the world gives us a go-ahead to go with that design, I think that was a great vote of confidence. And just to summarize, we showed positive results in our phase 2 trial, both in objective and subjective symptoms. We feel like we have a good case for going forward into a next clinical trial, and we're looking for a partner, financial partner, to help fund that next phase. So our strategic goals for the coming 6 to 12 months, one is to carry out our regulatory medical technical work regarding 501, get that approval for EU, and explore with the US the regulatory strategy for 501 in that market. And then to complete the clinical study that we're currently underway with, complete the scale-up of commercial production, where we're looking at using Romalug, one of the largest commercial manufacturers of ampoules, modifying their production facilities to get it up to scale so that we can supply global sales. Look at 101 then for the detailing a clinical plan, and then evaluating new projects where IntelliGel can be used either in our own products or other products on the market. So in the medium term, looking at the CE mark for launch and distribution, licensing of our products, and developing and licensing IntelliGel for other products as well. So the path forward has critical milestones. We have clinical trial results coming up, the scale-up of production, regulatory CE marking approval, and then positive cash flow. And we believe that RP501 has the potential to be an interesting and attractive addition to the self-care market, well positioned to existing first-time treatments, and we believe that it will in turn result in positive cash flow. So to fund these activities, I'd like to invite our existing shareholders and new ones in a rights issue that we're kicking off in November. We are raising 33 million Swedish crowns. That is guaranteed to 40%. And these proceeds that we're going to be raising will help us bring the product 501 for CE marking in Europe, scale up our production, and development of a new brand for our communication strategy for the product. And just to invite everybody, we will the first day of trading during this subscription period is the 3rd of November, and it'll extend for 2 weeks. And we invite everybody to join, including our existing shareholders. And if you're not currently a shareholder in Redwood, please join the company and help us enjoy the next coming milestones to develop the portfolio further. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that presentation. I've got a couple of questions emailed to me last night, which I'm going to ask you. Let me just scroll through here. Maybe you would like to clarify once again, because we've got a question here about the difference between the RP501 and the 101.
Well, RP501 is a medical device. Because it doesn't have an active substance in it, it is then treated by the regulatory authorities as a non-active substance. So it'll receive a CE mark, and that's what we're looking for in Europe. And in the US, once we iron out the regulatory strategy there, it probably will also be treated as a medical device. But that we're trying to iron out at the moment. RP101 has an active substance in it, has an estrogen compound. That's what differentiates the two. And because estrogen then has been shown to trigger the production of tear film, improve the the symptoms of dry eye, it is considered thus a drug. And so there are two different approval processes that we're managing.
Is it usually when it's the RP501, that's usually a quicker way to market, isn't it? When it's not.
Yeah, exactly. A medical device most often is a quicker way to market, and it's also a cheaper way to market because it is not as rigorous. The requirements, the clinical requirements, aren't as rigorous around a medical device. So we are sitting pretty at this moment. I think that we are looking to submit a CE application next year, and you know, knock on wood that the notified bodies can have capacity to review our application, but shortly thereafter we should be able to launch the product and be into territories of revenues.
And the market that you wish to launch on is in the States?
Well, initially we'll look at the European market because we're local here, and we know that'll be treated most likely as a Class 2B device, and it means that we'll be able to then, our idea is to look at parallel strategies first to look at how to validate the product and in the eyes of the market, both from a customer perspective and from a partner perspective. And our idea is to, at this point, is to validate it in select markets in Europe, and use that evidence to either go into other markets in Europe or globally, or to find an interested partner who already has infrastructure, a portfolio that they could just bake this product into.
Okay, thanks for clarifying that. And I wanted to know a little bit more about what's so special about this, let me see, IntelliGel?
Yeah. Well, IntelliGel is it's a patent-protected, unique formulation where it combines polymers, unique polymers, and water. And the genius of it all is that we can tune the temperature at which the gel forms. So it behaves like water at room temperature. So it's got versatility. It's easily you can handle it easily. You can drop it in your eye, and it spreads easily over the front of your eye. When the heat of your eye then is transferred to the liquid, it then stiffens and it forms a gel. And when you blink, it releases that stiffness. That's the beauty of it, where it can then minimize any feelings of stickiness or such.
And that's kind of what differentiates you from other competitors?
Exactly. It's that mechanism that's very unique. Okay. We know of very few products on the market that have that mechanism of action.
And speaking about the RP101, I noticed in your presentation that you had written blockbuster potential. For those who don't know what blockbuster means, could you maybe just talk a little bit about?
Sure. In pharmaceutical development, companies are always looking for the product that will generate more than $1 billion of revenues annually. And once you crest that level of $1 billion, your product is in a very golden category, or a very unique category, and those are the kinds of products that we're looking for, because they're with that kind of commercial potential. It's very attractive for so many companies.
Yeah.
And what we can see is that our product, RP101, is unique. It's based on estrogen. It can be the first hormonal therapy on the marketplace, where today you're trying to find different ways of solving symptoms of dry eye. And today we're using immunosuppressives like cyclosporin, which Restasis in the US, that's the big Allergan product. And you have Icaravis here in Europe, sold by Santen. And those are dealing with downstream symptoms and tinkering with your immune system. But estrogen would be targeted to an underlying mechanism in your eye, where we need hormones to keep our cells vital, and we've proven that there are estrogen receptors in the vital cells and glands in the eye that produce the different parts of the tear film. So how great is that? We have a unique mechanism of action, and we have proven efficacy in specific endpoints. And we feel that this will help differentiate the product when it comes out on the market. But
can there be any potential side effects with adding, like with hormones, estrogen and so?
Most drugs will have a toxic or safety profile, basically. And if we don't, hormones are necessary. They're vital compounds necessary to keep our bodies healthy. And so estrogen is a vital hormone for women, and it's also been shown it exists in men. So what's interesting enough is that when women go through menopause, the amount of circulating estrogen decreases by over 90%. Right?
That's a huge
And so
drop.
at the age of 65, men have more estrogen in women circulating in their system.
I didn't know that.
So there's a really interesting hypothesis there that if you don't have enough estrogen as a woman, you may be causing dry eye as a result of it. And that's where I think the brilliance of our technology can come forth.
Yeah. I got another question from a viewer here saying, biotech is a very big risk. What supports that you guys will succeed?
Yeah, that's a great question. I believe in I believe in these two programs that we have, 501 and 101. 501, an excellent mechanism of action. We have proven efficacy. I think that it's just smart execution that's going to help us be totally successful. And with 101, I believe that because this is a product that we have now, that has been, or the active substance has been tested in 3 phase 2 trials, 2 in the US and 1 here, and we've seen proven efficacy. I think that there's a body of evidence now that we can say that yes, this active substance works. So I believe, yes, that they can be very successful, these 2 products. And back to the question about why biotechnology development. I think that it takes smart, nimble companies like ourselves, without the baggage of larger organizations, to bring these products to market. And I believe in our team. I believe in the fundamentals of our company.
Final question here is, so you're doing a rights issue and at 4 million. Why? The question is, how come it's such a low level?
Yeah, I'm obviously disappointed on the one hand that the market has priced this our company at that level, but I myself am going in and see the opportunity to basically defend much of my position himself. So I'm going in as well. I think this is an effect of the market, the capital markets today, and I don't think it's at all an adequate reflection of the true value of our company.
I actually want to finish off with one final question. What would you say is the biggest trigger for the upcoming next 12 months?
Well, we have several triggers that are going to happen. We are scaling up production of our 501 project with Romelag, the largest manufacturer of ampoules in the world. We are also going to have clinical results in the first half of next year, and that's something that we're really looking forward to. And then also the submission of our CE marking application next year. I think those are just 3 simple milestones that I can name off the top of my head.
Sounds like you have exciting times ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And thank you for joining me today, Martin.